Mr. Riley. All right, so Van Gogh and Riley here. It is the morning of Saturday, September 21st, day number 142. I didn't do a closeout video yesterday because we got to the shelter here. This is Speck Pond Shelter. I would have taken a campsite earlier if I had found one, but there were no campsites on the way here, so we decided to. Fortunately, we got here. We did the Mahoosuc Notch yesterday, and then climbed up Mahoosuc Arm, and then descended down Mahoosuc Arm about 9/10 of a mile. And we were able to spend the night here. Oh, Riley, I know, it's okay. There were two people sleeping there, and Radish was sleeping over there. So I didn't want to bother them anymore by doing a closeout video. It was a really cold night. I was chilly. I had all three shirts on. I had my new puffy jacket on, and I was still kind of chilly. Yeah, and then as it got closer to morning, I decided to put my second puffy jacket on, and I also took my hiking pants off and put my leggings on underneath, and that helped me to be warmer for the last few hours of my rest. We're getting off to a late start today, as usual. And we're about a little over 5 miles from Grafton Notch, which is a popular parking area for people to access the trail. So Riley is anxious to start, so we're going to get started. Day number 142, Saturday, September 1st, and it happens to be the anniversary of my summit day in 2018. This is when I reached Mount Katahdin. It was a cold, windy, rainy day. Not a nice day. So, okay, we're gonna get this day started here. Nice little sign here, Baldpate Mountain, West Peak. Mr. Riley is with me, and I am here. We're both healthy, so that's excellent. And we're both together. I've not done much videoing today, but we made it to, after leaving the shelter, we made it to, we climbed up Old Speck Mountain, and then we got to a side trail that led 0.3 miles to the summit, and we declined to take it. But actually, shortly after we left the shelter, a northbound hiker caught up to us, and I was like, and I knew it because Riley was looking back and wagging his tail, and I didn't know who it was at first. And then he said, "Van Gogh," something like that. He said my name, and I was like, I didn't say anything. I didn't know who it was at first, and then I realized, oh, it is Scorp, Mr. Scorp, who we used to be hiking with so many times earlier in the trail. And I haven't seen since the porcupine incident back in New Jersey, a little bit after High Point State Park, when I was bouncing around with him and the section hiker, State Line. I was thinking Scorp was like well ahead of us, but he apparently was not. And of course he's been continuing to take zeros when he feels like it. And so we happened to cross paths again today. So we had a good conversation to catch up. And looks like there's something down there. What's down here, Riley? What is this? What is this? Hey, what is this? You want that? Ooh. Looks like some cereal. Anyway. Yeah, so we caught up. It was great catching up with him. I told him about all the stuff that's happened to Riley and I. And he seems to have been doing pretty well. He hasn't had any life-threatening experiences. He hasn't had any quills gotten stuck inside of him from a porcupine. He's been doing fine, and he looks good. So we hiked all the way down to Frye Notch together, and then took a break there. And then he hiked on a little bit ahead of us, and so he's ahead of us now. He said he was trying to get to Frye Notch Lean-To, which is the next shelter in front of us. And I think we are definitely under 3 miles. I think we're about 2.8 miles from Frye Notch Lean-To. So as a preliminary goal, I would like to get there as well tonight. And if we don't find a campsite before then we will have to get there. And just hike in the dark. But fortunately we are, yeah, it seems like it's probably about 6 o'clock now, I'm guessing. So the dark is definitely coming. And we'll probably have to hike in the dark a bit. I have, in full disclosure, I have been really hungry today. Last night, since we got into the shelter late, I didn't bother feeding myself or Riley, since I didn't want to bother the people in the shelter. So we deferred eating until this morning. I fed Riley this morning, and I ate some brown sugar, which I had in my pack. Not much of a meal, but it tasted good. And then when we got to Frye Notch, I finally ate that can of soup that I bought at the grocery store in Bartlett. When those guys, Chris and George, gave us a ride to out of Pinkham Notch to the grocery store. It was chicken dumpling soup. It was a creamy base, and I've been carrying it and kind of saving it, but I was hungry. I was just so hungry when we got to Frye Notch, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna eat this now. And now the only human food I have left is 2 dehydrated meals. I'll probably have 1 tonight, and I have some dehydrated rice. And then I have some sauce packets, like mustard and hot sauce and stuff like that. Well, this is gonna be tricky here. Lovely. Lovely, Riley. How are we gonna do this safely? Riley, hold up. Hold up, Riley. All right. Riley, wait. Me first. Back. Behind me. Riley, behind me. Stay behind me. Stay behind me, Riley, okay? All right, I think I'm gonna try. Riley, stay behind me. Stay behind me, Riley. Stay behind me. Riley, stay behind me. Stay behind me, Riley. Okay. It's okay, Riley. Stay behind me. Just stay behind me. Dude, stay behind me. Stay behind me, Riley, okay? Stay behind me. It's okay, Riley. Riley, just do it slowly. Stay behind me. Stay behind me. Riley, hold up. Stay behind me. Stay behind me, Riley. Riley, no, you gotta stay behind me. Good boy. Good boy. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there, Riley. Stay there, Riley. Stay there. Okay, come on. All right, stay there, Riley. Good boy. Good boy. Stay there, Riley. No, you're fine, Riley. Riley, stay there. Riley, stay. Stop. You're doing great, Riley. Riley, stay there. You're fine. You're fine, Riley. You're fine, Riley. You're fine. Okay, down a little bit, Riley. Come on. Good boy. Riley, stay there. Riley, stay there. Good boy. Stay there. Good boy. Good boy. Riley, stop. Good boy. Stop. Stay there. Stay there, Riley. Good boy. Good boy, Riley. let me just get my trekking pole. Stay there, Riley. Toss it down. Riley, stay there. We're almost there, Riley. Stay there. Hold up. Stay there, Riley. Hold up. Good boy. Good boy, Riley. Riley, stay there. Stay there. Hold up. Almost, buddy. Almost, Riley. Almost. There we go. Good boy. Well done, Riley. Well done. Beautiful. Okay. So where were we? Yes, I was talking about eat my food. Riley, so I ate the chicken soup, the chicken dumpling soup. It was delicious. So I only have, I have the 2 dehydrated meals, so they are very good dehydrated meals, but they're not super filling. They're okay for a normal person, but but I could easily eat like both of them tonight. Anyway, so I decided to experiment with Riley's food, and I tried one of his duck and sweet potato treats, because I still had a few of them. Tried one of them, and it was actually pretty good. It tasted pretty good. Like, it wasn't like as good as a human treat, but it didn't taste terrible. And I actually have 3 types of treats. I have 3 types of dog treats. I also have the chicken and peanut butter treats, which were a Christmas gift from my mom. She bought several packs. I still have a bunch of those. I give Riley at least 1 treat a day, sometimes 2. So I've been so I still have a bunch. And then I also have some dental chews that are chicken based as a dog treat. And so I tried one of each of them, and they're all like totally edible, and they don't taste great, but they don't taste terrible either. And I also tried some of his actual kibble, some of his regular food. I got like a wild boar mixed with a couple other things, flavor of dog food at the grocery store in Bartlett. And I tried some of that, and it also didn't taste terrible. So that made me feel much better. That, I mean, I'm not going to make a habit out of eating his food, but like, if I'm really hungry and I don't want to run out of food myself, and I'm at the point now where I have more dog food for Riley than I have for myself. So it kind of makes sense for me to dip into his food a little bit if I need it. So I'm planning to go into Andover, and if we get to I'm not sure how it's going to work, but when we get to Frye Notch Shelter, which hopefully will be tonight, we'll be about 15 miles from Andover, and I'll be able to resupply in Andover with some, I'll be able to do a proper resupply, like get new food for Riley, because he'll be low on food, and I'm very low on food, so I'll just basically do a good resupply. The last resupply I did in Bartlett at Pinkham Notch was not like a proper resupply, because I still had a decent amount of food on me, and I was still going through the hut system, and I was very close to Gorham, and I wasn't fully decided as to whether I was going to go into Gorham still or not. So I really limited what I got in Bartlett, because I still had a good amount of food on me. But now I'm very low on food, and I really need to resupply. So I'm going to do that in Andover. I'm just not sure if I'll be able to get there tomorrow or if I'll get there the next day. And if I get there the next day, which would be Monday, whether I want to spend the night there at a hostel called The Cabin, which I actually would like to spend the night at. But if I get there midday and I'm only able to hike for part of the day, I may feel like it's too short of a day. So I will see that the future will help determine what we do there, but I am close to resupplying. And yeah, either way, when we get to Andover, I'm looking forward to eating some good food. So we are on, we just got to Baldpate Mountain West Peak. Now we're like hiking over Baldpate Mountain. And it's kind of chilly now. We had a big climb up. We had like an 0.8 of a mile climb up that took us about 1,000 feet up in elevation gain. But the terrain today has actually been relatively nice compared to yesterday. So like certainly compared to the terrain in Frye Notch, which is like some of the hardest terrain on the entire trail. And then the terrain going up Mahoosuc Arm yesterday evening was also quite difficult, in addition to being extremely steep. So at least we've been able to like kind of more freely walk today. And it was awesome to meet Scorp again. I also met another hiker who's in front of us right now named New Guy. He said he got his name because his wife, he said he lives in Louisiana, and his wife has been sending him care packages in the mail throughout his hike, which he mentioned she has volunteered to do since before he started the hike, as a way to support him and also feel like she's kind of involved in the hike. Hold up, buddy. But he mentioned that back in Georgia, Riley, one of the hard things about hiking with the dog is that, that I'm experiencing and that I have experienced, is that whenever there's a tug, whenever he tugs on me or I tug on him, it wastes energy for both of us, because we're both going in directions that we don't necessarily want to go in. And so whenever Riley is tugging on me, even if he's tugging forward on me, like if I'm not prepared to go forward, then it just tires me out. And so that's why I get annoyed and why I try to keep him behind me so often. Plus, I also need to go into Andover and spend a decent amount of time there because I'm very low on power and I really need to recharge my devices. So I feel like because of that, whether we get there tomorrow or whether we get there the next day, I feel like I do need to spend the night so I can fully recharge all of my electronics, like all my GoPro batteries, my headlamps, my phone, and my power banks. Yeah, so I was talking about this New Guy. He said when his wife was sending him packages when he was in Georgia, a lot of the packages, I guess, had to go through the Atlanta mail system, and apparently there were just lots of delays in the mail system, and so a lot of the packages didn't arrive on time, and he was ending up having to wait a lot of times for the packages to arrive. And so as a result, he kept getting delayed because he was waiting on packages, and then he would see people on trail that he hadn't met before, and they hadn't met him, and so they would always say, "Oh, he's a new guy," because they hadn't met him before. So I thought that was a cool story. New guy is trying to hike big miles currently. Riley, come on, dude. Come on, dude. Because he's trying to get to the Kennebec River crossing before September 30th. And the reason he wants to get there before September 30th is because at the Kennebec River, you basically have to take a ferry across it because it's not safe to ford it on your feet because it's a very big river. And there's a free ferry service provided by the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, the ATC. But it's only free until the 30th of September. And after that, it doesn't run unless you call it. And to call it outside of its normal operating hours, and any time after September 30th is outside of its normal schedule, you have to pay, I think it's a $50 fee. And I'm thinking Riley and I will not get there before September 30th, so we are going to have to pay $50 for an out-of-schedule ferry ride, which isn't the end of the world. If we have to do it, then we have to do it. It's fine. But he doesn't want to have to do that, so he's trying to hike bigger miles, which means he has to hike in the dark. Potential campsite there. Yeah, so that's what he's doing. I, on the other hand, I really don't want to hike in the dark unless it's absolutely necessary. Last night we had to hike in the dark to get to the shelter. And I was looking for campsites before we got to the shelter and absolutely would have taken one, but there was no other option but to continue to the shelter. And we only did 6.9 miles the whole day yesterday. Today, if we get to Frye Notch Lean-To, then we'll have done just over, I think, 10 miles on the day. All right, so I've rambled on enough. My GoPro battery is probably starting to get low, so that's a little bit of an update on what's been going on today. Oh, the other thing is, when we got to Grafton Notch, I was kind of hoping there would be trail magic there. For my 2018 hike, when I got to Grafton Notch, there was trail magic there. And I spent a good long time there. And they had the works. They had burgers and hot dogs and ice cream sundaes. And they had this thing called Moxie soda, which is, apparently it's a soda that is unique to Maine. It's kind of like root beer or birch beer. Hold up, Riley. And it comes in a cool orange can with Riley, hold up. With a cool guy in the front. I remember that was the first time I've ever had Moxie soda. Hold up, Riley. Hold up, buddy. Hold up. Stop whining. Stop whining. Stop whining. And then before I finished, Breezy, who was an awesome companion on the trail back in 2018, I hadn't seen him for a long time. He actually caught up and was able to enjoy the trail magic with me. So that was very memorable for me. And then before we left, there was another couple that came that decided to put trail magic on as well. So there were two separate trail magics at Grafton Notch when I hiked through there in 2018. It was earlier in the season. Today's September 21st. It's probably like maybe the first week of September. Beautiful campsite there. And so I was holding out hope that someone would be doing trail magic today there, but no such luck. There were a lot of people, a lot of day hikers coming up today, hiking up towards Old Speck Mountain, and there were a lot of cars in the parking lot, but no trail magic, unfortunately. If there had been, I would not have felt like I needed to resort to eating Riley's food today. think we're getting close to the top of this Baldpate mountain. We're just following the cairns and the white blazes when I see them. It's always reassuring when I know where the next cairn is. And I see a long line of them in front of us, so we're going in the right direction. So since I'm now a dog treat eater, I would say I like the sweet potato and duck the best. That actually tastes good. The chicken and peanut butter I like second best. That tastes okay. And the dental chew, I like that third best. Or should I say last. That's kind of got a little funny taste to it, but they all, I don't think they're bad for me. I doubt they're bad for me. This must be the top of the mountain since it's got like, but no, we're still going up, so. But I could definitely feel my hunger somewhat satiated after I consumed them, so. I am somewhat relieved that I don't just have to survive on these 2 dehydrated meals and the small bit of dehydrated rice that I have. Especially since whenever I want to eat that, I have to let it soak. And I don't have a cook set, so I just have to let it soak in regular water. And it basically takes like several hours before it can become like edible. Whereas with the treats, they're edible right away, so that's kind of cool. I did get a large jar of peanut butter at the grocery store in Bartlett, but I have finished the peanut butter. I like it so much that I just eat it very, very fast. And I had it with the carrots that I got that a couple days ago when it was really hot and Riley was taking lots of breaks. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna eat my carrots and peanut butter here. Riley, what are you doing, dude? Come on. Okay, I think you might be right here. Looks like the cairns go that way. I think you might be right, Riley. Yeah, we came from that direction, and now the cairns are kind of leading us this way. Hold up, buddy. Yeah, this is the next cairn, and where's the next? I think looks like we gotta go this way. It seems like the trail seems like they've carved out some rocks over here. Yeah, there's a cairn over there. Okay, I think we were both kind of right. I was heading in the right general direction, but at the same time I didn't see where the next cairn was. So, I'm ready to get off this friggin' mountain, get below tree line. It is getting chilly, so it's always good to be back under tree line before dark. I totally remember doing this hike back in 2018 because after the trail magic, where Breezy caught up to me, we hiked on together, and we actually hiked together from Frye Notch, and I believe we actually hiked all the way to Frye Notch Lean-To, where Riley and I are headed to for the moment. So that's kind of a cool parallel between the two hikes. Like in 2018 there was this guy Breezy who we had spent a good bit of time together earlier in the hike, and then hadn't seen each other in a long while, and saw each other at Frye Notch. And then this year, the same day that I got to Frye Notch, I saw Scorp for the first time in a long time, since New Jersey basically. So I'm sure it's just a coincidence, but it's kind of cool how that works out. really would have been cool would be if we had encountered two separate people doing trail magic at Grafton Notch this year. That would have been definitely a awesome coincidence. But at the same time, that would have slowed us down a good bit, and we probably wouldn't have been able to get to Frye Notch Lean-To this evening. Anywho, looks like we're still going up, but I see a sign there. So that's probably a Baldpate mountain. The previous one was West Peak, so maybe this is East Peak. We will find out. I guess I thought we were getting under tree line, but we weren't really. By the way, that mud that I stepped into last night, I think that was the last video that I took yesterday, where I just mentioned how I had stepped into some near waist deep mud in both my right legs and my left legs. That was really annoying. Really annoying. I'm glad I haven't repeated that. And I definitely did not do that in 2018, because I would have remembered that had it happened. All right, what do we got here? East Peak, Baldpate, Frye Notch Lean-To, 1.8 miles. All right, let's go. Come on, buddy. Follow the cairns here. 1.8 to go, Riley. And that's, you can see the sun just peeking below the clouds there. Yeah. Riley, come on, buddy. Wait, what? There's a cairn right there. What? Say what? Say what? All right, let's go to the cairn, Riley. And then I see a white blaze over there, and I think we just somehow got off trail, but we were headed to the right direction though. We were headed in the direction where that sign pointed us to head. And now we're getting there by following the cairns and the blazes. Look at that sunset over there. All right, Van Gogh here. Just want to close out the day. So Riley and I made it to Frye Notch Lean-To. It's about 8:20 p.m. right now. I'm actually down at the water source. I just filled up water for the evening. And there's one other guy in the lean-to, a guy named Unicorn, who I haven't met yet, I don't believe. We were just talking when we got there. He seems really nice, and he likes dogs, so should be a good night tonight. I'm going to stay in the shelter with him. Riley's actually back there with him. And he was happy to watch him. He actually offered to give Riley the rest of the leftovers of his dinner that he wasn't going to finish. And it was like some beef stuff. Riley really enjoyed it, so that was awesome. And yeah, so we are about 14.6 miles away from South Arm Road, which leads into Andover. So that's where we are. We're at mile 1935.8, and we hiked a total of 10.4 miles today. And it is chilly now, but it's not super cold. It helps that we descended a lot of elevation, and we're at lower elevation compared to being on top of the mountain. Yes, I'm just happy that we're in a good spot for the night, and we're gonna have a good sleep. And I'm gonna try to eat some food before I go to bed. So we'll tackle the AT again tomorrow, and hope everyone's doing well as always. And we'll check in tomorrow. Okay, bye for now.